finest in unique men's sportswear, formal wear, outerwear, shoes, accessories, and more during the 2023 2-for-1 Spring and Summer Clearance Sale at Lionel Smith Limited in downtown Aiken. Limited to only the finest in men's clothing. First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Lexus Acura Infinity. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, First at 5.
Live at 5 as the week kicks off, feel like temperatures are expected to soar to dangerous levels. We're tracking how high it will go. Plus, we're hearing from the suspect's mother after a manhunt for a mass shooting suspect in Georgia. But first, the search is now over for a missing teen. Aiken Public Safety says 15-year-old Aiden Conister hadn't been seen since last Wednesday. After following leads and information, they say he was found this morning at a home in Rabun County, Georgia. The outpouring of support here on Facebook is overwhelming, all part of the group bringing Aiden Conister home. Now, hundreds searched and showed their support for his safe return. Our Emma Ellis is live at Aiken Public Safety headquarters. And Emma, you spoke with the organizer of a Facebook page that blew up with people working to find Aiden.
Yes, the community came together to search for him, but ultimately he was found over 3 hours away from home. Aiken Public Safety says that when searching locally didn't produce any results, they followed every lead and tip they had to find Aiden. As Friday night and Saturday morning came along, they received some information they were able to follow up on and realized Aiden wasn't in Aiken. He was found in Rabun County, Georgia, which is near the North Carolina and South Carolina border. Aiken Public Safety says even though Aiden has been found and is safe, the investigation into what happened isn't over.
We are starting a criminal investigation to see who was helping him, how they helped him, why they helped him. And once our investigation is complete, we'll go talk to our solicitor, and there's a possibility that someone or several people may be charged with assisting him.
Authorities say that Aiden appears to be healthy and is being evaluated at Augusta University Hospital.
And to see the community playing a major role in trying to find Aiden is something that we're all happy to see. We're glad that he's safe and we got this outcome. Thank you for keeping us updated with that, Emma.
Well, not many storms out there on our First Alert Radar network today. The big weather story has been just very hazy conditions. We actually are looking at a lot of smoke across most of the eastern U.S. This is all thanks to some intense wildfires over, I believe it's northern British Columbia. They do have some very intense wildfires going on in Canada, so that jet stream pattern is drawing all that smoke towards us. Luckily, it is elevated smoke. It's not really making its way towards the ground, so not impacting our air quality here in Augusta, so good news there. But if you've been outside, you can see this haze big time. Very hazy look for most of our tower cams this afternoon. This will also make for most likely a pretty cool looking sunset. I know you'll likely hear a lot of buzz on social media about sunset along with wildfire smoke. It does look a little bit different, but it doesn't necessarily look super vibrant. Actually kind of looks very dull, but it looks different. You may want to check that out for sunset later tonight. Not much rain relief out there. We got one tiny little pop-up downpour just over, it looks like around Beach Island. We got some outflow boundaries from storms earlier, just kind of pushing those that ability to lift up a few new cells across the region. But for the most part, we are expecting dry weather this evening, tonight, outside of just those very tiny cells that may pop up for a few lucky spots. For the rest of us, we do look mostly dry. Most of those storms should stay closer towards the coastline. It is hot and humid again. Temperatures in the 90s, feeling like over 100 for most spots. Getting hotter over the next few days. We'll have an update there in the full forecast. But let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, here's a view just outside of our studios. You can see that haze in the sky there. Traffic-wise, doesn't look too bad, though. Riverwatch Parkway just kind of busy, normal for this time of day, and it doesn't look like I-20 is backed up too much here at the state line. Going out to Wheeler Road next, seeing eastbound, westbound lanes of I-20 between Wheeler Road and Bel Air Road exit. Not really seeing much congestion there either. We are hazy across most of the area. We'll let you know about a little bit higher rain chances late into the week in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. We're getting a first look at the two South Carolina children who died in Pennsylvania flash flooding over the weekend. Upper Makerfield Police, that's near Trenton, New Jersey, released the photo of 2-year-old Matilda and 9-month-old Conrad Shields on Facebook. Their father and entire family say they want to thank everyone for their prayers and support. He also thanked the personnel involved in the massive search to find them. A man is dead after an early morning shooting in Batesburg. Aiken County investigators say they got the call shortly after 1 a.m. Now, deputies say they responded to a home on 96 Indian Trail. When they got there, they found 20-year-old Jatavius Harris dead. Investigators say it appears the gunshots came from outside the home there. This investigation is still ongoing. If you have any information about this case, call the Aiken County Sheriff's Office. After a 24-hour manhunt, U.S. Marshals say they shot and killed 41-year-old Andre Longmore. The search began Saturday after deputies found 4 people dead in a neighborhood in Henry County. Clayton County investigators say some officers were injured, but they're expected to be okay. Rebecca Strom spoke with Longmore's mother.
I spoke off camera with the mother of the now deceased suspect. She tells me her son was in the Army for 6 years. She says years after his service, he snapped.
I'm just beside myself right now. I just don't know what to think.
Neighbors in the Dogwood Lake subdivision in Hampton are in a state of disbelief after what police say 41-year-old Andre Longmore did Saturday morning.
He shooting right at the car. As soon as I opened my window, I seen his arms in the air. When he caught, okay, I just missed the shot. When he came back down, he focused again.
When it was all over, 4 of Longmore's neighbors were dead. Scott Levitt and his wife Shirley, Steve Blizzard, and Ronald Jeffers, all in their mid-60s. The next day, police tracked Longmore to Jonesboro. Justin Robinson tells us he and his friends were in his backyard when the man appeared, saying he needed help.
He had a gun, he was aching, he was bleeding.
They ran off and called police.
Police go in, they open the back door, as soon as they open the back door, they don't even look. They don't even assess anything. As soon as they open the back door, this guy just starts shooting. Shoots one of the cops, the police start shooting, and now he's laying in there dead on the carpet.
Henry County Sheriff Reginald Scandrett said this when he made the announcement.
The monster's dead.
Longmore's mother tells me her son had been a sergeant in the 82nd Airborne. She says he received several commendations for his stellar service, but years later, he began to lose sleep and act strangely. She says he was diagnosed with PTSD and schizophrenia. She says in her opinion, the military created the monster her son became. Longmore's mother told me she wants her neighbors to know how sorry she is for what her son did. She says her heart breaks for them. In Hampton, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And no word yet on what led up to that mass shooting. We're working to learn more about the investigation into the disappearance and return of Carly Russell. After being reported missing on Thursday night, 25-year-old Russell is now safe in home with her family. Hundreds of people searching for Russell last weekend. The last word from Hoover Police is more information will come out when they think it's a good time to sit down and talk to Carly and her family. A former prosecutor weighed in on this case.
Law enforcement's job is not to appease those of us who want to know what happened. It's to catch bad guys. And if catching bad guys and officer safety are the priority, then sometimes they have to go quiet. Again, we have to just trust that Hoover PD knows what it's doing.
Law enforcement says Carly did give a statement to the detectives, and that statement is a part of the ongoing investigation. When Live at 5 returns, a pilot has a medical emergency, leaving his passengers to take over. The crash landing coming up just after this break. Riley?
We are looking ahead to one of the hottest weeks we have seen in a good while, folks. Upper 90s from now all the way through Friday afternoon. Update on the forecast just after the break.
This year, Head Start programs in 11 counties throughout the CSRA will see new preschool opportunities for children in underserved communities. Coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, a deeper look into what Senator John Ossoff is securing for the CSRA.
Click, click.
All right, welcome back. We'll send things over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Halen. Riley, we're starting to see some of that wildfire smoke appear in the sky, especially over downtown Augusta. You can really see that haze outside.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pretty crazy sight from a lot of our tower cams today. I want to show you a view from our Beach Island camera. So this is our highest camera that we do have across the region. You can see it's tough to even see downtown. And what's happening right now is we actually have a little shower impacting our Beach Island camera. So we're seeing a little bit of rain, a little bit of smoke, a few different weather variables out there for us. But you can see all this smoke just coming down thanks to the jet stream with a big upper level trough over the eastern U.S. It's actually dragging smoke all the way from northern Canada down towards the southeast. So a pretty unique setup here. All right, we're looking at our First Alert radar network. As we just saw from our Beach Island camera, there's one tiny little shower there. Unfortunately, not really making it to North Augusta or Augusta proper either. I would imagine we do stay dry here, but keep in mind there will be an opportunity for these outflow boundaries to continue moving through the region. We know those can help set off these tiny little downpours. So you can see that moving through central Barnwell County, that little outflow boundary from the storm over Orangeburg. Very tough to kind of pick exactly where and when our cells are going to pop up, but just keep in mind, cannot rule those out over the next couple of hours. Most of us do look dry, though. I would imagine we do clear out those skies heading past sunset, and temperature-wise tonight, actually not feeling too bad. We should be able to work our way down to the low 70s and upper 60s by daybreak tomorrow morning. Now, looking at our current heat index across the area, we are feeling like the upper 90s to near 100. It's going to start feeling even hotter over the next several afternoons. Starting tomorrow, that heat index for Tuesday, once we get past the lunch hour, it's going to start feeling like anywhere from 100 to 104 across the region. Push this forward to Wednesday. Our feel-like temperatures up to 105 for most spots. We're looking at high temps hitting upper 90s, but these feel-like temperatures are going to be pretty brutal for us. So just make sure you are doing the necessary things during the summer months here in the south. Just make sure you're drinking plenty of water and try to avoid those peak heating hours to do any exercise outside. Our peak heat index will be anywhere from 103 to 106 for the rest of the work week. Good news is by this weekend, that heat really drops off. We should be back to high temperatures, actually a little bit below average starting Saturday and Sunday. But remember, with this type of heat, we got a lot of people working outside. We got football practices going on. I remember last week we had the football camp at Fort Gordon. It started at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That is very dangerous, folks. If you got any sports camps going on, try to get them in early or very late into the evening, because heat exhaustion, heat stroke can happen very quickly. If you're heading to the pool, that's going to be a great place to be. We're looking at temps upper 90s, so anywhere near a body of water definitely going to be feeling much better, but just watch out for a little bit better opportunity to see a few storms late into the week. Looking like mainly Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those storm chances appear to be just kind of widely scattered, popping up each afternoon, but we could see some of those even as soon as Wednesday, so just a heads up. But the upper 90s, that's a big part of the weather story all the way through Friday. Looking ahead to the weekend, those temperatures do cool off a good bit. That's going to be thanks to our next front moving in, so likely we'll keep the chance for storms Saturday through Monday afternoon.
All right, thanks, Riley. Now to some terrifying moments in the sky after a pilot had a medical emergency and his passenger had to take the controls. She managed to crash land the plane in Martha's Vineyard and survived. Aaron Gilchrist has the details.
Tonight, a miracle on Martha's Vineyard. A small plane crash landing just off the airport runway after the pilot suffered a medical emergency.
The single aircraft down and approaching the runway 6. One patient unresponsive at the time.
This video posted online, unconfirmed by NBC News, but matching descriptions of the scene by Massachusetts State Police, showing first responders on the ground after a 79-year-old pilot became unresponsive mid-air before his female passenger took the controls.
What can you tell us about how difficult it might have been to land something like this?
It is not a trainer, so it's going to require more skill. It's going to approach the airport at higher speeds.
The small plane, a 2006 Piper Meridian, took off from Westchester, New York, Saturday afternoon en route to Martha's Vineyard. On final approach, the passenger had to jump into action, the plane's left wing breaking in half after a hard landing. Just last year, Darren Harrison made a similar heroic landing in Florida.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot
We have now gone into a dive.
Harrison spoke to our Savannah Guthrie about taking control and safely landing with zero experience in the cockpit.
Because I knew it was a life or death situation. Either you do what you have to do to control the situation or you're going to die. And that's what I did.
Massachusetts State Police say the pilot was flown to a Boston hospital in serious, life-threatening condition, and the passenger wasn't seriously hurt. Aaron Gilchrist, NBC News.
And quick thinking there from some of these passengers to hop in those crazy situations to survive that and not even be injured in the end. Some quick thinking, good for them. Well, billions of dollars in unemployment pandemic benefits potentially given to fraudsters. Next, consumer experts explain what steps are being taken to strengthen security.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Lexus Acura Infinity.
Water damage from
$76 billion in unemployment pandemic benefits potentially given to fraudsters. That's according to a new report by the Department of Labor's Inspector General's office. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman spoke with the Department of Labor and consumer advocates about what's being done.
The pandemic may no longer be a national emergency, but the Department of Labor's Inspector General says unemployment insurance fraud remains a big concern. The OIG, which provides independent oversight of department programs, issued its new semi-annual report to Congress in May. In the 152-page report, the OIG says over $888 billion in federal and state unemployment insurance was paid during the pandemic period. At least $191 billion of that could have been improper payments, nearly half of which was likely paid to fraudsters.
We are working collaboratively with them to put in new protections to protect the program and every day collaborate with them to bring those who committed crimes, especially during the pandemic, to justice.
Andrew Stetner, Deputy Director for Policy at the Office of Unemployment Insurance Modernization for the Department of Labor, says they've read the report and are working hard to ensure security measures are put into place, both federally and across multiple states.
We have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in grants to states to put in new protections. Chief among them is identity verification. We know that if we can ensure that the person who is applying for unemployment benefits is the person they say they are, that can prevent a lot of different types of fraud.
Eva Velasquez with the Identity Theft Resource Center says she's glad to see both the Department of Labor and the OIG taking unemployment fraud seriously.
Even though we're not seeing the massive numbers that we were in 2021, the baseline is increased. So we're at this new heightened baseline where the fraud is still ongoing in the state departments. At least the attempts are still being made because the thieves found that it was lucrative.
And while state and federal governments work to strengthen security measures when it comes to fraud, there are simple things you can do to protect yourself.
Using unique passwords across all of your online accounts, making sure that includes your email, making sure it's 12 characters or longer and unique. Again, don't duplicate it across multiple accounts. Turning on multi-factor authentication on all of your accounts, because that way, even if the criminal does have your data and your information, without that code, they still can't get into those accounts.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Our national investigative team reached out to the OIG for an interview on their report, but they declined. Republican presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis is expected to be the first GOP candidate to file for South Carolina's Republican presidential primary. The Florida governor is set to make an appearance at the Republican Party headquarters tomorrow. After he signs his paperwork, he plans to make a policy rollout. He's already announced tackling immigration. It's a proposal that includes the call for ending birthright citizenship and finishing construction on the Mexico border wall. A new report says contributions are slowing down for DeSantis. He posted a strong $20 million in the second quarter of 2023, but it quickly fell off in the weeks after his announcement for the White House bid. Filings say that about 15% of individual donations came in amounts of $200 or less. A huge family vacation spot is celebrating today after opening its doors back in 1955. We'll show you how far it's come when Live at 5 returns. Riley?
Well, if you're heading up to the lake the next few afternoons, highs will be in the mid-90s there, and lake temperatures right now currently at 88 at Plum Branch Yacht Club, so pretty toasty up at Clarks Hill. Now look at that 7-day forecast just after a quick break.
If you think
today marks 68 years since Disneyland opened its doors. The $17 million theme park opened in 1955. Disneyland was built on 160 acres of a former orange grove in Anaheim, California. More than 18 million people visit Disneyland every year. I have not been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World in Florida. Went on one roller coaster because I was really young, Riley.
You tried
screamed.
Space Mountain?
It was Space Mountain, that's what it
Yeah,
was. And I bawled and I screamed, and my parents said that was a mistake.
Teacups for Willie from now on. After Space Mountain.
That scarred me for life. Now I can't go on roller coasters because I'm terrified. So I thank
No.
my parents for that.
Will, you've been on a roller coaster since.
I have, but I don't enjoy them, I feel like, as much as I should. Because,
Well, there's supposed to be a little fear and fun.
it was all fear that day, let me tell you. I was bawling. I thought someone.
Poor little Will, man.
It was bad.
Space Mountain can be scary. You want to make sure that
It was dark. You can't see anything. What do you
It
expect?
is dark. That's why they call it Space Mountain. You're in space. You're flying through.
Yeah, but you can
Fun
still
stuff.
see in space, I feel like.
Can. What we can't see right now is downtown Augusta because our tower cam is not only be blocked by this huge rain shower popping up just on the other side of the river, but we also have very hazy conditions. You can even see away from that rain shaft, just tough to see to the horizon. A lot of wildfire smoke from Canada over the area today. 90 degrees, feeling like 97. It's hot. It's humid. We don't have many storms bubbling up. We have this one tiny shower we just saw from our Beach Island camera, but that is forming along an outflow boundary from storms that were outside the area. So these skinny blue lines, remember, those can set off new storms, and that will be possible until we get to around after sunset tonight. Remember, moving forward this week, we got highs upper 90s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just looked at the data, and we haven't seen temps stay this hot for this long in over 2 years. Stick with us. Much more live at 5. Just out.
I've had an opportunity